Hello everyone and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. There's only 2 days left to enter the Win Your Dream Bike September draw. If you want to stand a chance of winning a Pinarello F12 or a Pinarello F10, who doesn't want to do that? Then make sure you head over to the website winyourdreambike.com, enter your details, answer the questions, sit back, relax, wait for the draw to happen on the 5th of October. You could be riding around on a brand new Pinarello very, very soon indeed. Anyway, enough self-promotion again for one day. Let's get into news. And today marks a very special occasion in the World Tour calendar. We have 48 consecutive days of World Tour racing. And on a couple of those days, we have multiple World Tour races going off at the same time. Let that sink in for a minute. We're almost in October and we still have 48 days of racing. And some of the best racing days are still to come in 2020. Anyway, as I was saying, the Big Bank Tour kicks things off today with stage one. So we're bringing you all the news from that Big Bank Tour as it happens. But we've been talking over the past couple of weeks now, and we're running out of superlatives for him. Wout van Aert has been the attention of everybody within the cycling industry over the past few weeks. But I think some of that attention now is just going to move across slightly to Mathieu van der Poel. He essentially kicks off his post-COVID 2020 race season today at the Big Bank Tour. And I've got to say, he is my tip for GC. Also, I want you to keep an eye out on Ethan Hayter. I think Ethan Hayter at the Big Bank Tour, he's not got the strongest team around him. He has got Owain Doull there. He's got a few of the veterans there. Christian Knies is there. I think he could do really well. He's coming off some really good form. Yes, he's riding with the big dogs now. But I think this guy is more than capable of showing a few people up at the Big Bank Tour. Now, talking of classics, tomorrow is Flèche Wallonne. Now, Julien Alaphilippe, winner of last year's race, won't be taken to the start line, leaving the door wide open for anybody else wanting to take victory there. But my prediction for Flèche Wallonne is, I'm going to say Bob Jungels. I think he's going to take victory there. Obviously, no Fabio Jakobsen either there, so yeah. Jungels. Now, talking of the Wolfpack, let's get an update on Remco Evenepoel. Remember Il Lombardia? He took a nosedive off a bridge and somehow survived it, and somehow he's back on the road to recovery, and he is now back cycling indoors, which is great news. Over on Cycling News, the Belgian no longer requires crutches to walk as comeback from fractured pelvis starts in earnest. In a press release, Evenepoel said, "I'm doing well, mate. I'm almost completely pain-free, mate, and a lot more mobile. I can put my crutches to one side now, and I'm happy to be able to start working in a more targeted manner. My recovery process has been going well in recent weeks. Initially, I found it hard to go from everything to nothing in terms of movement, but after a necessary period of rest, I've come back more and more mobile recently." And we wait with bated breath to see what kind of recovery Remco Evenepoel makes here. If we think back to 2019, stage 13 of the Tour de France, where Wout van Aert, and yes, here we are talking about him again, had that horrific crash in that individual time trial. A lot of people again thought this man's career potentially might be over, but he's just proven that even a crash like that can't stop him, and hopefully that's going to be the same with the likes of Chloe Daiger, the likes of Remco Evenepoel, huge, massive, career-threatening crashes, and hopefully these guys are going to be making full recoveries and coming back even better than before. Potentially that rest might actually do them good in the long term. But still, it's great to hear that Remco Evenepoel back on his bike, even if it's indoors, and starting to make his way back to the pro peloton. Next up, and this story baffles me just a little bit, that the organisers of the Giro Rosa have been left baffled themselves, that the Giro Rosa no longer carries Women's World Tour status, bearing in mind that they provided very little in the way of TV coverage. How this comes as a surprise to the organisers, I have no idea, when the UCI stipulate that they must show 45 minutes of live footage from the race for it to qualify as a World Tour event. It's pretty simple. Now, we've had this discussion with Laura from the Peloton Brief a few weeks back as to the difficulties in actually making money around licenses for that live coverage, and potentially the organisers couldn't make enough money to warrant the expense it would cost to bring in everything that they need to produce live footage. However, this is the biggest women's race in the world, and it's not got, or it's not going to have World Tour status in 2021. How can that even be a thing? It's a catch-22 situation. They can't generate enough money to warrant bringing in that live production, but they're not going to bring any money in because there's no live production and there's no eyes on the actual race itself, when, again, some of the most exciting, amazing racing. But how the organisers can sit there and go, well, why are you taking World Tour status away from us? You're not follow through on what you're supposed to, so it's gone. Like, I don't know what the answer is. The best you could hope for at this year's Giro was to go and follow them on their Twitter and get play-by-play tweets. But the thing is, prior to the Giro starting, they'd not tweeted for a whole year, so you knew absolutely nothing about what was happening. Trying to get hold of information was nigh on impossible. You probably got more information from me and the UCI's YouTube highlights than anywhere else. It just, I don't know, it's just frustrating to see the women's biggest race not have World Tour status, and then it definitely doesn't have to show any coverage. So what's the coverage going to be like next year? Are we even going to get tweets about it? I mean, I don't know. It needs some money pumping into it. Speculate to accumulate. That's what they say in it. And hopefully with women's racing, there is plenty of accumulation to be had if the right people get behind it and they put it in front of the right people, because we need to inspire more and more young women to get on their bike and become a professional athlete or to lead a healthy lifestyle. Leave your comments down below on this one. Bloody Giro Rosa. And then finally, like we said at the start of the show, we've got 48 days of consecutive racing, but this could be the last 48 days of NTT Pro Cycling as we know it. As of yesterday, NTT have withdrawn their sponsorship for 2021, leaving the team without a main sponsor, which could be absolutely disastrous when you look at the likes of potentially CCC not having a team or a sponsor for next year, and now NTT Pro Cycling not having a sponsor, potentially having to disband that team. On Monday evening, team boss Doug Ryder asked all NTT Pro Cycling staff and riders to dial into an online video call, at which point he confirmed the news that NTT will be stepping aside as the team's title sponsor at the end of the year after talks of extending the current deal proved unsuccessful. NTT Pro Cycling rider Jay Thompson said, "If a sponsor came through now at the last minute, it would be a lifeline for African cycling. They'd be saving more than just us professional cyclists. They'd be saving kids on bicycles through Quebecer. Our team does a huge amount for that because we carry the name of Quebecer. Our team does a huge amount for that because we carry the name Quebecer around the world. It will be incredible if a sponsor saw that and kept African cycling alive." And like Jay Thompson says, this is potentially huge for African cycling. The amount of work that this team has done for Quebecer, the charity, and the amount of bikes that they've donated, and the influence they've had within Africa of getting people on bikes is huge. Are they going to have to find a sponsor that's going to come in at Pro Conti level and not have to put up as much cash to keep the team going? I don't know. It'd be interesting to get your thoughts on that one down below. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure, if you've not done already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We've got a Giro preview coming up on Thursday or Friday. I'm not too sure which day it's coming out yet. So if you want to stay abreast of that, make sure you hit that notification bell. If you've disliked this video for whatever reason, then leave your comments down below. Let us know why, and hit that dislike button, and then swiftly move along. And that's it. Leave your comments down below on everything we've talked about in this show today. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you soon.